First, there was Dueling Citizens, now Secrets from the Inside. Author Greg Meakin nails it again. Introducing Secrets from the Inside Radio Show. Raw, unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled. Secrets from the Inside starts now. With your hosts, Greg Meakin, Val Olson, and Captain James McCormick.
Good morning, Greg. This is Secrets from the Inside, episode 0010. How are you this morning?
Wow, you memorized the episode numbers. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
Last one was 009, I believe.
That's right.
I'm laughing already, Val. Oh, about 2-3 hours ago, or maybe 4, I wasn't laughing. I was angry. I was really angry. Okay. I might even title this show, Greg Was Angry. Oh, but I'm not now. I feel happy. I feel ready to laugh, ready to joke, maybe even ask for a secret or two. I'm okay now, Val. I'm okay now.
Good.
You know what it's called? Today. It's called prayer.
Yeah.
I was up at 2:00 this morning, anyhow.
Me too.
My time. I think that's 4:00 James. I'll bet you $1 million I beat him. I bet you. He thinks he's a tough guy with getting up at 5, 6 in the morning, right? We know better than that, Val, right? I'm already trashing Captain James. He's going to be dropping in, Val.
Wonderful. That's great. I look so forward to hearing what's happening in his world. He is so busy, Captain James.
Isn't it amazing? Your mic was just a smidge in and out. It sounded perfect and then went a little muffled. But it sounded perfect. I hope we can hit on that today. It sounded good. James, Captain James McCormick, CMC, as we call him. That's Captain, Major, Commander, all rolled into one. That sounds like old talking points now, doesn't it, Val? It's like have we done this before?
Well, it is 0010, so people can listen. I'm going to take a second and just do some housekeeping behind the scenes.
Sure.
For those of you that have not subscribed to Greg's YouTube channel, this is where you will find Secrets from the Inside on demand, so you can listen whatever your schedule is, just binge listen or watch it on your lunch break. You pick. You're in control of the situation. So subscribe to Greg's YouTube channel at Greg Meakin.
Wow, that sounded like a plug. Awesome. I think you have that off of memory, don't you, Val?
It's very important. I did hear from some Albertans this morning. They said, Val, can you help us out? This is a real problem going on. They are unable to access news stories from Calgary to Lethbridge.
Unbelievable. Digressing to the last 1 or 2 episodes, this internet shut down by Canada, by Ottawa right now. This is not good. I remember you and I did Continue Mission. We went out to 200,000 military vets out there, Captain James's show on a Friday night, and Canadians couldn't see it. They weren't allowed to view it. You remember that, Val?
I do. Yeah.
So even here you go. Hey, talking behind Canadians' back already. This is not going to be a Canada show. Or this is good. But you say, hey, folks in America right now, we're watching you guys up in Canada right now. We actually get the news. And God, we won't go there that early right now. But I'm saying I can't believe I'm hearing of censorship. I mean, seriously. Do you remember? I might have told you this, Val, a couple of days ago. I posted a nice little YouTube video paying tribute to my old high school friend. You'll know this name, Havard Gould. Brilliant Canadian journalist. I still worry about him to this day because he got brain damage because of getting his butt kicked in downtown Toronto. And that video I was unable to post it, or at least Canadians couldn't see it. Or was blocked, maybe blocked at the border, maybe blocked at immigration. Justin Trudeau
Stop.
probably didn't like my YouTube video, Val, but I'm saying, are you kidding me? That was a tribute to an old high school friend that I'm worried about health-wise. And he's also probably the best journalist I've ever known, best writer I've ever known anyway. So there you go. Imagine that. We're off to the races already, Val. We're definitely going to have James drop in, and goodness gracious, boy, thank goodness for technology. I see an icon right now with an old friend of ours right there, Val. If you take a peek at her name, dropping in, parachuting in. My goodness. I'll turn the mic back to you, Val, to introduce her. Remember, how about the doorbell action here, Val? How about the doorbell action? You got that? I love that. And
Good morning.
turning it over.
Good morning, Janelle. Janelle Lamb is knocking on the front door, and we just welcome her to the show. We are thrilled to have you,
Thank
Janelle. Thanks for
you.
dropping
Hey, I have a
by.
special guest with me. I have a Sheriff Lamb on the phone with me this morning.
Hey, Val. Hey, Greg. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you, Sheriff
We're
Lamb?
doing great. We're doing great. A couple days out from Christmas. We're kind of just enjoying some family time.
Hey, Val, can I take a second? Do we really have Mark and Janelle Lamb live right now? Can I pinch myself for a minute here, please?
I know you never, with
Yes.
AI, you never know anymore.
Are you doing this show off of your watch, Sheriff, or are you actually on a real computer or something? How does the Gen X male world work right now when you happen to be a sheriff and running for the Senate and being an awesome husband and dad too? How does that work? Take a few minutes and say hi here, Sheriff. I can't believe that's awesome to hear you. Seriously, it's great to hear your voice.
Well, the way it works is your wife has her phone logged in and she drops it down in front of you and says, "Hey, we're on this show." So that's the way it works. It doesn't take much effort on my part, but yeah, we're doing great. We're just out there campaigning. Taking a couple days just to spend with the family, and then obviously we got a long year next year, but we just
Do we have a connection issue there, Rafael? Here, we back connected right here.
Sorry, I was getting a call coming in. Sorry.
We are loud and clear, so you guys just
You
carry
guys
on.
don't get calls coming in, do you, Mark and Janelle? You're not like busy, are you?
I live on my phone at this point in my life. Unfortunately, it's not all. It's just I'm on the phone 24/7, always just answering messages and emailing and
Uh,
just taking care of business, getting this campaign in the right direction, and it's
I
awesome.
don't know how you
We're
I
having fun.
don't know how you do it. I just can't believe it. Like Val here, my awesome co-pilot, we've read all your work, read your book, so we'll have Val coo over your book if we have time here. But how's your time look? I know you guys are so busy. I know you know what 100 hours a week plus looks like. How's your time here? Just to say hi and kind of catch up a bit.
We've just got about 5 minutes because he's got an appointment. He's headed out the door too, and I've got the grandkids actually coming over this morning to bake. Brody's already here, and but it's a rainy day, so we're kind of taking it slow and not being too crazy. But we do something, Greg and Val, that you may have heard of. It's called we squeeze hours out of minutes. That's what we do at our house. We squeeze hours out of minutes.
Well,
I love that.
take all the time you need right now here, Janelle or Mark. I'm thrilled to hear both of your voices, and take the time for yourselves here. I'll definitely have Val touch base with you, but let's front load this a little bit for you, Janelle and or Mark. What I did want to ask you, I know you got limited time here. I wanted to ask you one question, and I'll save this kind of for later, but one of you might have a quick answer for this or both. My question to you is do you ever catch yourself getting angry? I mean, like really, and I know we fight it and stuff, but how about this? When's the last time you're really angry and what'd you do about it and how do you feel about it now? There's my question of the day, but go ahead and take some time here. Talk about the Senate race, talk about what you're doing. It's front loaded for you two right now.
Well, I'll tell you, Greg. Look, I don't know that I get super angry at hardly ever. I get frustrated or irritated with little things. You know, you've heard me talk about it. You can control. You got to surrender the outcome in life, and you can only control your attitude and your work output. And so, like, there's a big things that happen in life. Don't stress me out. Don't bother me as much because I can't control them. What bothers me are the little things that are controllable. You know, leaving late, little, not sending something out when you're supposed to send it out. Those are things that are in your control. And so I would say that as I get older, I probably get a little bit more irritated with the little things that I can control and fail to, as opposed to the big things. You would be like, man, does anything rattle this guy? I mean, being a cop by nature, you just deal with a lot of big stuff, and you get to where, like I said, you just realize, you can't control the outcome of most things. We've had some tragedy in our family that we couldn't control, and so we've had to live by that mantra. But I would say I don't get angry, but I do get a little irritated when things that I can control um, don't work out the way they're supposed to work out.
I don't get angry really either. I like the same. We get frustrated, and I try to see things for what they are, and that helps. Just getting perspective, people ask all the time, they're like, oh, is it just so hard to do a statewide race? It's so hard to run for the Senate, and you have to drive all over, and you're on the phone all the time. And I say, you know what? Not even just in the last 2 years, but even our whole married life, we've been through a lot of hard things. I've been through hard things. Campaigning and being in politics, those are not that hard compared to other things. So if anything we've learned, it's perspective.
Guys, that's so awesome. Awesome. Take a quick second too, if you would, Janelle and Mark, because people ask us all the time. Val and I have a real, as you know, broad reach, including up to Canada, including, of course, especially Alberta, but even now, maybe even over in England and some other countries. Please tell everybody where they can find literally your book. This is plug session. Here we go. Shameless plugs, but please tell about your books real quick, where we can get them. Mark, same thing. And also your crucial Senate campaign. Okay, everybody get your wallets out here, folks. Okay, debit cards. But wait, there's more. But go ahead, really take some time. And I'll definitely have Val weigh in either way before you guys scoop. But I know your time's limited, so just go ahead and talk about the lambs right now.
Well, our books are all available on Amazon, of course. And then let me give you the titles. So Sheriff Lamb wrote American Sheriff, Traditional Values in a Modern World. And then he wrote American Sheriff, Rules to Live By. I have The Sheriff's Wife, Holding It All Together Behind the Scenes in Politics, which is kind of my little tell-all of everything we went through going into politics blind, and the book I wished I'd had when we were doing it. And then I wrote Bravery and Blinders, which is more of some of the life lessons and hard things we went through after becoming the sheriff and being more in the limelight and how that affected us personally and our family. So those are kind of 4 books on our perspective on things. You can get them, obviously, like I said, at Amazon. And then if you go to sheriffswife.com, sheriffswife.com, that's where you can order personalized copies. So I can write a little signature in there. Maybe if you want to dedicate it to a friend, we do that quite often where someone will, send it to someone they know to lift them up or as a gift. And we can personalize those books at sheriffswife.com. But it might take you a week to get it. It might take a little longer. If you order it on Amazon, you'll have it in 24 hours. If you order it from me, you got to give me a week. But I'll get it to you eventually.
You're not busy or anything, are you, Janelle? You're not busy these days.
A little busy.
I'm retired, and I'm busier than I was when in my 40s. Mark, please do a quick little, whether it's sign off or whatever, message for our folks. I can't tell you how important what you're doing is, not only for your Senate campaign. You've heard it here first, but Lamb 51, right? Lamb 51, that's Greg Meakin's prediction. But take a minute and take as long as you want, Sheriff. I believe you're going to be the next senator representing the beautiful state of Arizona. And anything you really want to share or reach out to, I promise I'll have definitely Val close it out with you too. I know how tough your time is, but go ahead, Mark, just share. I really, really have appreciated knowing you in the last couple of years.
Well, I appreciate it, Greg, and thank you, Val. It's always good catching up with you guys. And if you want to check out the Senate race, please go to sherifflandforsenate.com. Arizona and America needs proven conservative fighters with everything we're dealing with. But I honestly don't want to take away from this time of year where and mar it with politics. So I would just say to everybody listening, that's where you can go find me and follow me. American Sheriff on Instagram, Sheriff Lamb 1 on Twitter, and Sheriff Lamb on Facebook. But really, my message is take the time to enjoy the good things in life, the things that really matter, which is your family, your relationship with God. And that's what we do this time of year, and just enjoy the Christmas season and count the blessings that we do have, and try to help those that are struggling. I think that's what the whole purpose of this time of year is. And we're trying to focus on that and break away a little bit from all the normal stuff we have to do, and focus on the things that are really what are important in this life. So that would be my message to everybody. And when we get back in the next year, we can refocus on all the other stuff. But I think just taking a moment to just remember why we're here on this earth, what we're supposed to do, and what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I still stand by that, and I haven't heard that part of my book in a little while, so it was fun to hear that. Yeah, I think we're just seeing it more and more and more, especially with our kids. My best friend's daughter is struggling. My own kids have had their struggles, and just seeing the youth today, especially, but even the adults that are trying to parent these kids, it's like we're we're falling behind in who we are and remembering who we are, and we're getting way and too busy to be back to our spiritual self and be at church and remember that God is our Father and our Creator. And it's become, kind of taboo to say that kind of stuff in public. And I just will continue to unabashedly and, loud and proud declare that I'm a daughter of God, and I'm proud of that, and it gives me my strength and my core and my values, and that's what I want to leave my legacy to this world and to my family especially. So thank you for repeating that.
I love it. Me too. I'm going to echo that.
Well,
Greg,
Janelle, like I always say, behind every great man, there's a surprised father-in-law, right? And no, we're not thoughtful men. Old married guys, we're not thoughtful men. We just obey our wives. We're completely frightened of our wives, right? That's my humor. But I cannot thank you enough, and thank Mark enough for popping on parachuting in the show today. It was phenomenal. This will be produced on YouTube.
Thank you for having us.
As you know, I'll let you guys go, and I'll keep you posted on the clips and stuff. And thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you.
You betcha, you guys. Thanks for having us.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, Greg.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, guys.
They are such an amazing team, aren't they, Greg? I love how they work together, and this is just another example of it. We had the chance, you and I, to be at a recent fundraiser kickoff for Sheriff Lamb, and just watching that, you and I were kind of at a back table, so we had a real view of the entire room, and it's really what it's like. It's one table, all are welcome, a place to be open and honest, right, and say what's on your heart. That's what it's all about in Arizona 48. Well,
like you're saying, we're not just chatting to folks here, by the way, on the air. I just can't believe, I'm so thrilled they dropped in, Val, seriously. I might even call a favor of the sheriff, maybe have him share it on his Twitter platform. I don't know, last time I heard he had like 77, 80,000 followers. I'll bet you it's way over that now. I bet you he's over 100 G's running for the Senate. But either way, you're talking about very important stuff. We know these two folks. We know Mark and Janelle Lamb. You mentioned the fundraiser. You don't just talk about events or cover them or copy and paste them. You go to them, Val, and I go to them. As they say, boots on the ground, or like in Montreal, skates on the ice. We've been to his fundraiser, which is, I just call it like a 1950s VFW bingo game. It was just great. He and Janelle. And we went to other fundraisers, tease on that too, but that with other candidates, but won't even jump in there today. We've covered it, but I'll tell you what, I'm thrilled. This is actually kind of a quick impromptu program that I really wanted to share this morning. It's called Ad Hoc Radio, where we have the opportunity to go live on the air. In this case, I honestly, at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, I didn't expect that Mark and Janelle Lamb would pop in. I'm actually, if this is okay with you, I'm going to do, because your mic is real tough on your end. It's odd because it goes in and out, and I do really believe that's something on your side as far as interference. But I'd like, let's kind of, if okay, I kind of would like to wrap it up. Maybe sometime over the weekend, or maybe early next week, maybe go live again. But as ever, this is episode 0010. I call it 0010. And it's Secrets from the Inside. We go off on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, Val, at 9 a.m. hard start Pacific time and noon Eastern. And today actually turned out to be the same thing as far as 9 o'clock start, at least 9 o'clock our time. Here we go. And it won't get into the time zones again. Here we go. We get real confused with that. I think it's more than 7 time zones I'm working in right now, Val. It's just ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. England's the weird one. England's like either 7 or 6 hours ahead, depending on the time zone. Here you go. Imagine that. Secrets from the Inside, always available on this platform. This indeed, Val Olson Radio on X. This is where we've platformed this. By the way, not only is this episode 10 of Secrets from the Inside, Val, this is number 33 for you and me. That's like a rhyme. 33 for you and me, as far as produced broadcast together. It's kind of cool. So I'm especially proud of this with the quick drop-in nature of it. But also we got obviously some priceless and timeless, as ever, anecdotes, stories, and messages from Sheriff Mark Lamb and his wonderful wife, Janelle Lamb. And so tune into Val Olson at Home Media Mom, and always as Val opened the show, my YouTube channel, as you know, Val, stuff's pouring out more and more every day. And it's all current stuff. It's all homework that should be done already out there. But do tune into our YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is at Greg Meakin. That's GregMeakin.com. And guess what, Val? Guess what? Welcome to your welcome to your kitchen table. We have a guest that just parachuted in. Did you hear me rapping here, Val? Because we never know, right?
It's your show. You're in charge. We can keep the front door open. What do you think?
I'll tell you what. We have Captain James McCormick. I don't know if he's dialed in yet with his mic, but we have Captain James McCormick who just parachuted in, Val, as you can see. Just the old FYI, awesome, James. Val's mic is in and out a little bit, so it might maybe be you and me who have to blabber a little bit here, just purely for mic issues on Val's end. Hey, James, maybe Justin Trudeau is messing with Val's mic these days, whatever. But welcome. Did you hear by any chance? Did you hear that we had Sheriff Lamb and Janelle Lamb live here a few minutes ago? Captain, go ahead, say hi if you're on speaker. Here we go. I think it's the old, you got to take it off on mute, James. Am I the producer there, Val?
we lost Captain James. He'll be coming back momentarily. There he is.
Good. Looks like he's on. Oh, there we go. Geez, James, that's almost like you were overseas or something for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Are you in some foxhole or something today? Are you babysitting the granddaughter or dealing with your doggies today? What are you doing, James?
I'm in my office right now, and I just got finished dealing with a little, with a little delivery thing here, and I got my dogs Bravo and Cookie laying here at my feet. Got my heating pad on my back, to help me with this degenerative disc disease, and I'm getting better, man. I'm telling you, it's it sucks getting old, but it sure beats the alternative, Can you hear me okay? What the heck happened?
Well, unfortunately, we can hear you perfectly, James. Right?
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't get any response, and usually I get a laugh or something. Usually
Do
when
you
I'm
know that I believe you? This might be unbelievable to you, but do you know that I'm actually known for my laugh, like going way back to school days and stuff, James? Did you know that?
I can understand that. Yeah.
Did you hear we had Sheriff Mark Lamb on live, James? And we
I have
had
no idea. How's he doing?
oh, he and Janelle were both on live. He's doing fabulous as ever. Just wonderful, positive messages. His Senate run is going wonderfully. We always encourage folks to continue, donate to him, his Senate campaign, donate to you guys, your Purple Heart guys, your causes and stuff. But it was great. He's doing great. We will have a meeting here, a visit in the Phoenix area to tour the border and to also do a digging history episode. So he's doing great, and I know he salutes you guys and stuff. As a matter of fact, take the mic a few minutes here. I'm going to take a break on my blabbering here, but catch us up a little bit on your end. If you have any wishes for Mark and Janelle, take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever you want here, James, and say hi to our audience. A lot of people will be hearing this stuff for the first time.
Yeah. So, as usual, we continue to watch the goings on in the world, and then we see obviously the atrocities that occurred, that was, done by Hamas, a terrorist, no good, rogue, freaking group of thugs that should all be destroyed and pounded into dust. And then, we should take the dust and incinerate it. That's where I'm at with these guys. I can tell you, I honestly believe that Israel is going to deliver the world's biggest smackdown on these guys still yet. And I'm looking forward to that, Now, we shouldn't rejoice at our enemy's downfall, but we should always rejoice when evil does not prevail. And they are evil. The things that they've done, the stuff that's been coming out, absolutely ridiculous. And, we should all be standing in unity against that kind of garbage that goes on. And, and I can't believe that we got Democrats and liberals out there that aren't standing against it. So there goes the whole thing about protecting women. There goes the whole thing about, rapes, because all those women were raped. There goes the whole thing about everything else that occurred during that mess. And it's all based on political affiliations and lean. Look, if our country, we have one more election before we lose it all. We can't have another 4 years of Joe Biden, Ilhan Omar, Rashidi, and all the rest of them that are out there. I'm telling you, AOC, we laugh at her and stuff because I think that out of all of them, she's probably the only one that you can laugh at. The rest of them, there's nothing to laugh about. So we're serious about taking our country back. The other thing is you're going to see a new organization come out. I'm just going to give you the name. It's called the Roughneck Regiment. You get ready for that Roughneck Regiment. We've got right at 60,000 members that came down through Vets for Energy when I ran that program for 10 years. And we have about 49,000 of those members that are going to transition over to the Roughneck Regiment. Now, it sounds rough, but I will just tell you that it's all about God and country, and it's all about patriotism. You know, we have an oath that we take, we have a code of conduct, and it all has to do with living within, you know, the parameters of the law and doing decent, righteous things. You know, like respecting your flag, respecting your country, respecting your Constitution. So those are the things that we're going to be working towards, as well as advancing natural gas, oil, and coal, you know, and, you know, what we say to the, you know, to the green energy folks, you know, we believe you should be competing in the market as well. But it shouldn't be a race, a 2-mile race, that they give you a 1 3/4 mile head start. You know what I mean? It's got to be a race. You start at the finish line. If your product is best for the American people, then hallelujah, God bless you. Let's move forward. But if it doesn't, then you know that you have to fix it, and you have to do something good and righteous. Look, if we shut down gas and oil production in the United States right now, we will be invaded. I firmly believe that. I believe that the Chinese, the Russians, you know, they would see that as a great opportunity, and they champion that stuff. They really, you know, encourage, you know, the push for green energy in America. They want us to close down pipelines. They want us to stop mining coal. They want us to shut down steel mills. They want us to do that. Notice that they never shut down nothing, especially the Chinese. The current land buying issues that we have, millions and millions of acres are owned by foreign entities that have ties to China, Russia, and yes, Iran. Unbelievable. Saudi Arabia is another one. How does this happen in our country? You know, I'll tell you how it happens. You crap on the economy. You crush the American farmers who do have land, and you make it to where they can't survive. They're going to feed their family. So they don't care if Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh, Adolf Hitler walks in. I think it's a shame that they would do that. But if they got money to buy their property, they sell it. They don't even ask no questions. You want to know why? Because there's usually an American, a greasy, slimy lobbyist, opportunist that is acting as an agent for these foreign slime bags. And they're going out, and you think you're selling it to Billy Bob America, when actually, hell, he's just buying it for whoever. Check the box. And so those are the things that we need to start getting more engaged on, Greg and Val. We need to start looking at this. Now, I don't know what's going up in Canada right now. You know, we talked about this tampon thing that they had going on, but this woke crap, you know, look, here's the deal. We're raising worthless men. Just going to tell you that right now. We're raising worthless men. And when the bottom falls out, all you women out there that's married to one of these little tippy toe kind of people that don't know the difference between a hammer and a wrench, you're not going to survive, you know, or you're going to be, you know, passed around among, you know, rogue people that'll come in here. You just imagine that everything shuts down. And you got a man that can't even turn the main water supply line off into your house, or turn it on, or change a battery, or change the oil in the car, or change a tire, you know, or God forbid, put on, a fan belt or something to keep you going. They don't know how to grow their own food. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to gut a fish or a deer or skin it out. Well, see, I know how to do all that stuff. And men of my generation and your generation, we know how to do it. So again, I reach out to both the men and the women. Stop, and go learn how to survive. Go learn how to do something without an iPad or an iPhone. Okay. Go out there in the woods with nothing but a coat and a pocket knife and see how long you can last out there. I think I could be pretty comfortable, Greg.
I'll tell you what, James, you'd be the first guy I picked on my team. You know what I mean? You remember the first guy picked, and then there's always the last guy picked, right? Yeah. You'd be the first guy. I don't even know how to change oil on my car. Thank God in heaven I married my wonderful wife, because I call her Bob Vila. She can fix anything.
Yeah, fix the hole in your roof. I mean, look. I've saved us hundreds of $1,000s in plumbing, electrical.
Oh, sure.
Carpenter fees, because I know how to get out and fix stuff.
And honestly, boy, this came to me. This is so important. Actually, boy, you jogged my brain here. Imagine that. But the whole issue of being able to do work with your hands, do the practical things in life, etc. This whole trend towards trade schools. Really starting within high school and recruiting both men and women candidates for trade school. Remember this, I'll jump right to this. Thanks for jogging my pre-dementia brain. In my book, which you have in your hands, and I'm going to be a proponent of this big time, that we have a 1 year of civil service / duty. Military. After high school, after graduating high school. Israel, as you well know, I'm sure, Captain, has a 2-year period where everybody, and male, female, everyone, no exemptions, no Hunter Biden exemptions or whatever. And you spend 1 year, and you can either go to a trade school, do causes, maybe Habitat for Humanity, whatever, but it's a minimum wage job, 40 hours a week, but it's 1 year. And that can be to also, of course, learn the Constitution, be able to say the Pledge of Allegiance before graduating. Thoughts on that? Because you really, again, you spurred my brain on that, James.
Well, it's critical. I'm sitting there watching, the invasion at our southern border. Hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people have come across this dang border in the last couple of years. All right. And they're all grown men, trust me, they know how to do stuff. They know how to make roadside bombs. They know how to shoot. They don't have any kind of worry about, I really worry about something like what happened in Israel happening to us. I can see on October 7th. So I think it's important that we fix that. Number one, you're not going to fix it with this clown administration that we got. Unbelievable. Weak, panty waist men. That don't win wars. Let me tell you who won wars in World War II. Was tough ass, inner city, rural kids who lived through the Depression, and they learned how to drink water out of the creek. They learned how to lay in the woods and hunt and kill and skin and cook their own food. They worked every day from sun up to sundown. And they didn't have time for BS at night because they were tired. So they go to sleep, but they were always engaged in doing something, it'd be tough right now. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. I think we got some tough, rugged men and women in this country that could step up. But I mean, look.
And honestly, remember, James,
they won't work in a pie factory. Some of them, man, they're so lazy, and they've gotten used to just getting everything handed to them. And that's, and that's a sad situation. You're going to be at a great loss. And they sit around and they watch things like The Walking Dead and all these other shows that show you this apocalyptic, end of times. That stuff is really going to happen one day, and they're not going to be ready. And they're not going to get ready. It takes a body Greg, I'm telling you right now, it's going to take their bodies weeks that they don't have, and they will never have that kind of time to be able to get adjusted and be able to, to be able to survive, live in the woods. I mean, it's cold, man. It's 30 some degrees outside. Go outside and go camping right now. I've been in it.
In your training, how many days can you go without water and stuff? What was your specific training there?
Well, you really shouldn't go more than 4 or 5 days without water, but 7 days is a good max. You will die if you don't get water. And that's just a fact. I think that food, you can go for, you go a month, without food. But water, no, not so much. I don't think. So you better learn how to, number one, drink water, clean water. I can make a filter with a couple of plastic bottles, Greg. You know what I mean? I know how to filter water, man. And I'm telling you, I could, the last filter being a piece of my underwear if I need it. You know what I mean? But
there you go. There you go.
And me starting a fire, which I can do without matches or a lighter. And being able to get the charcoal in there to help you kill that Giardia, or better yet, boil the water. How about that? And then, you filter it for turpidities. And I know how to catch rainwater. And I'm telling you, man, it's just, people would think that's gross. I mean, look, I'll go down to the creek, kick over some rocks, and I'll get enough crayfish that I'll eat like a freaking king, man.
And James, people say it can't happen. That's the whole thing, right? People say it can't happen. I got buddies in Texas that when the grid went down back then, we had a full outage and stuff here in Arizona it wasn't more than a couple of days, but it was misery because all the air conditioning went out. And obviously electrical grid means, computer and stuff. People think it can't happen. So again, open their eyes on that, James, because I'll tell you what, no matter what, I've never heard more people kind of talking about this type of stuff. And honestly, not till the last couple of years, to tell you the truth. But turn it back to you on that. Thank you for sharing on that, James. Go ahead.
And the thing is that like, well, I got a generator. Yeah, and my God, when you crank that thing up, everybody and their brother for 50 miles can hear it. Okay, even the silent ones. My dog can hear it. I can hear it. We used to go and find the enemy listening for freaking generators, laughter at night, or looking for those cigarette butts, those red embers that would open up. You would see them for a long way. You better learn how to live without that stuff. Because people will be hunting you and come take your stuff. There'll be no law and order. We've done let all these thugs,
Hey, James, I think your mic might have cut out. Oh, there you go. Welcome to the internet. Looks like you might have dropped off. Val, how's your mic doing? I know you've been
Good. James is just getting connected
Right.
here. I'm just sitting here listening, saying I salute all these men and the Roughneck Regiment. I guarantee it sounds like those guys know the difference between a hammer and a wrench. This is amazing. Back to you, James.
Well, and you just have to. We have to stop being so dang stupid and weak. Seriously, we just, like I'm telling you, every day, I hear these people, oh, well, I got a little sniffle or whatever. Man, I go to work every day, okay? And I'm be 56 on January the 26th of 2024. I wake up every day and I deal with pain from arthritis, multiple gunshot wounds. That's the reality of life, like I told you earlier. But if you have a will to survive, and not only that, I have a will to not only survive, but I have an obligation to protect my wife, my kids, my grandkids, and my neighbors, and my Constitution, you know. So you can bet you that guys like this roughneck, I'm telling you, wait till it officially comes up, and wait until you see the oath that we take and the areas that we cover. And it covers all about the U.S. Constitution. It covers all about, you know, it's not some crazy, you know, weirdo group that's out there looking to, you know, do harm, because we're not. We think that you know, we still have an opportunity to have civil discourse and dialogue out there, but you have to be just as loud as they are, you know, your opposition.
Hey, James,
Yeah.
will you be, it's Friday. You're going to be on the radio tonight, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to be talking about the Roughneck Boys on Continue Mission? Tell us a little bit about that. I don't know if you have tonight planned, but what's your agenda for Father Mike and Rich?
Well, we're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about this recent, you know, kicking Trump off the ballot in Colorado. You know, let me tell you what Colorado did. It backfired on them. You know, so it's like, okay, well, that's fine. We'll just move out of Colorado and we'll move someplace else where we can vote for Donald Trump. Or they'll stay there and they'll protest and make life miserable for those people, as they should. They shouldn't have to leave. They should actually stay and you know, fix that mess. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Hunter Biden sticking his middle finger up to the Congress and the Senate. Okay, so all you U.S. congressmen and senators out there, Hunter Biden pulled down his pants, shot you the moon, and then turned around and gave you both middle fingers, pumping them frantically as he climbed off of the Marine helicopter to go into the White House, because he don't care about you see, because he looks at you as a bunch of clowns, because his daddy is going to keep him out of trouble. That's the way they see it. And you know, when you have that kind of a rogue group, you're going to you can bet you we'll be talking about that tonight. And then we'll get into the Oil and Gas Workers Association. We're going to also get into the Roughneck Regiment. Look, we were an energy exporter, a net exporter of energy in 2018. We were energy independent, or the closest we've ever been in the history of our country outside of World War II. Now, 2023 going into 2024, once again, dependent on foreign oil. Joe Biden, oh, please, OPEC, we please reduce the price of oil per barrel. Whenever, if we were the ones producing it, and I'm telling you, our goal is to not just become energy independent. We want to become energy dominant and be the world leader in energy, gas, oil, coal, and yes, renewables where they are functional. And they are functional in backup power, you know, in emergency solar backup power. I believe in that. I believe that that's a great place for that to be. Because then you could probably keep a system, or at least your main things rolling with that. But the problem always comes down to running those cables and those lines. And who does that? American workers. That's who does that. You know, Haji Joe and Haji Mama that's coming across the border. They coming across the border to work. They're coming across the border to milk this system and wait until they're given the order to turn us into a third world country crap hole. You know, that, you know, Donald Trump said it best. You know, he called some of these countries, you know, what holes and crap holes. But he used the word SHIT, and I believe that. I've lived in them. I know what it's like, you know. Imagine waking up and you can't take your kid who has, let's just take common cold. Your kid gets Giardia from the water there's no doctor to take them to. If you don't know how to take care of them, they're going to get sick and possibly die. That's what Somalia is like. That's what, parts of Iran, Iraq, even parts of Saudi Arabia, North Korea, Iran, China. Get yourself caught out in the middle of China someplace. I'm telling you right now, they will probably say, well, what are you, like 55 or 56 years old? Well, you've lived a pretty good life. We need those kidneys, and we need those lungs. We need that heart more than we need you. And that's what happens in these countries, man. It's not some kind of a Frankenstein nightmare movie. It's reality. That happens.
Boy, James, I say to everybody, all Americans need to live in another country for a little while to see what it is. I mean, I've come back to America, I kid you not, and just almost got on my knees when I got off the plane. Happy to be back.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you a quick question, because you brought up, dang, I tell you what, you brought up Donald Trump.
Yep.
And the Colorado gig. Okay, this is just stuff. It's happening right in front of us. It's like Baghdad Bob on steroids now, right? James, as far as our media in Colorado, talk to me if you have any scoop as far as Trump. I call him 45, 47. I know you're kind of in touch. I know not daily and stuff, but what's the scoop? Is he, to your knowledge, is he feeling good, feeling great, confident for the election, as I am? And any scoop at all there, or from your grapevine, because you're so connected?
Let me tell you something. What Colorado just did was give him hundreds of thousands of more votes in other states that are looking around saying, there are some people that were on the fence, like, well, I don't know, but I'm telling you, I talk to Democrats, independents, libertarians. I'm hard pressed to find anybody in West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland. Now, there's some liberals out in Maryland. I will tell you that they won't vote for him. But I'm getting hard pressed to find anybody in my network. Thousands of people, 14,000 people on LinkedIn, thousands of people in other areas. I'm hard pressed to find anybody say that they're not voting for Donald Trump, other than the fruitcakes and the nuts, the worthless men that are out there. They're not going to vote for him because Donald Trump will come in and maybe he'll implement some of these things that we're talking about. I think, compulsory military service. Look, we're going to have to do that because we're not meeting the numbers. The Marines and the Space Force are the only two organizations that's meeting their recruiting goals. You're going to need the Army to win wars. You're going to need the Navy to win wars. And you're going to need the Coast Guard to win wars. And people are just not joining. So Donald Trump doesn't care. He doesn't need Colorado to win the presidency. Just going to just tell you that right now. He'd like to have a fair shake in Colorado, but I think that he gained probably twice the number of voters that he would have got in Colorado just because they pulled this butthole thing on him, so God bless Donald Trump. Hope he, pray that he wins. America needs him right now. And, people, I wish that he would, and I think he's worked on, his civility piece, but I really don't care at this point. How civil has Black Lives Matter been? How civil has Antifa been? How civil has the whole Democrat Party been? They've been uncivilized, letting these grown men walk into these bathrooms with these kids and stuff. I just watched a video on it. This mom was going to whip this guy's rear end, and I wish that a real man would have showed up and taught that guy a lesson. But they're so few and far between now. People are afraid to get involved. That's why you see people getting their butts kicked on the subway, old women getting beat, pulverized by these clowns, and nobody's, checking them. There was a time when we'd break your jaw for doing stuff like that. It's just the way it is. You do it now, you break their jaw now, Greg, even though they deserve it. They 100% deserve it. Guess what happens? Prison, hate crime,
Yeah.
God forbid that they end up being gay or trans or something like that,
Oh yeah. And beware in liberal areas or even up in Canada if you defend your own property with a firearm, right? Goodness gracious. I can't believe some of those old stories of guys getting convicted for defending their bloody home and their family. So
here's what
rant on that one.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I will go to jail. So all you thugs that are listening out there, or if you know somebody, don't come up here trying that stuff up. Like I told these people before, don't pull that stuff in New Haven, West Virginia. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You will get hurt and maybe worse, because we're not into sitting around letting people burn down buildings, murder kids, rape them, molest them. We just don't do that here. You know what I mean? We're just not going to. We still have real men here. We do. And they're all armed and they know how to use their firearm. And we know how to use our fists, Greg, just like you guys out there playing hockey.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I was 70s. You were 80s or 90s, whatever. Can you imagine? We used to do that, punch each other in the nose to square our differences, away. Can you imagine? It bugs me, not to jump branches here, but it so bugs me what I see in the public school system with just all of this absolute nonsense. Because I was raised with teachers. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother were teachers, and we would resolve our differences internally or whatever. It really bugs me. I don't mean to jump branches and really don't need comment on it unless you feel like it. But in the education world, that's why everyone's going to like the Arizona model here, right? Of a voucher system. This voucher system. But all the public school systems seem to do is worry about getting sued. Protecting themselves, whatever. And then sadly, once again, looking out for the 1% and forgetting about the 99%. If you want to comment on that's cool, James. Either way, I'll follow up here with a question and or let Val jump in. I can't tell you how much I thank you for jumping in and also sharing such great edgy stuff. It is Secrets from the Inside when we hear from Captain James McCormick. Go ahead, sir.
Well, it is edgy because it used to be the standard normal discussions that we used to have all the time. What we're talking about right now, this isn't, we used to sit around, we had a plan. I had a neighbor that lived next to me just recently and have another one now. We had a plan. We looked out for each other. Oh, I'm going out of town. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on your house. Okay. When I was going through rehab, through for being wounded in Iraq, I couldn't cut my grass, and that was a hard thing for me. And I'm telling you, I am a man that has a little bit of pride. It's a healthy pride, though. It's not an unhealthy pride. But 9:00 at night, man, I hear a lawnmower firing up. My neighbor's out because that's the only time he could. He's out there with his headlights on his riding lawnmower, cutting my grass. Okay. And his kids, when my wife was pregnant, they would run over and help my wife carrying groceries. That's the kind of community that we had. Now, it's not that with all the neighbors. We got some neighbors that don't do that, but we have a few that still do. And we'd come over, we'd talk guns. We'd clean guns on our back porch. We'd talk about, what's going on in the world. We'd have good civil conversations. He had 2 daughters and a son. I would teach my sons, my daughters, his daughters, my sons, how to do things like build a fire. I'll never forget this. I taught every one of them how to build a fire without matches. You know what I mean? Taught them how to do it with magnifying glasses, taught them how to do it with sticks, taught them how to do it with strikers, taught them how to do it with flint and steel, taught them how to, to make one of those devices, with the bow, and it worked, man. And the look on their face when they start to see that smoke come out, they made fire. They know how to make fire, to this day. And then we would talk about where to get water from. Taught them how to make a solar steel, Greg. So with a piece of plastic and a can and a hole in the ground and some grass thrown in there, and the sun, would cause condensation, and you'd put a little pebble in the middle of it, and that condensation would soak down in the middle and drop of water in a can. Now, it doesn't get you a lot of water, but it's enough to keep you alive. If you can't find water anywhere else, how to get water with the daggone sponge off of the leaves and off of the grass in the mornings. I watch my dogs out there. My dogs are smart enough to do that, Greg. They walk out in the morning, there's frost on the ground. They're out there licking that ground, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
This stuff you're talking about, James, this is mandatory. This should be mandatory learning for, again, young people. Could you ever put this together in like a little lecture series or podcast series? This is big time, man, especially in 2023 and 2024. Being independent. Again, we call it quote preppers or whatever. You're talking really cool inside stuff. Is that a course, do you think?
Yeah. Well, I used to teach it for the Army, survival, escape, and resistance, the SEER training. And so we would, we taught pilots, we taught people, how to survive whenever you're stuck behind enemy lines, and look, you will be behind enemy lines, man. If something happens and everything falls, your neighbors will turn on you. People that you thought you could trust, they'll turn on. Your family will sell you out, man. If they're going to get a bag of rice and some beans and a little bit of water, man. Just telling you. You got to be ready to take care of yourself.
We're tribal people. We don't know it. We don't understand that, but we've been around for tens of thousands of years. We're tribal people. On this note, just a quick question for you, Captain.
Yeah.
Early in the show, the one question I asked Sheriff Lamb, because I went through a little phase here in the last 24 hours where I was really angry for the first time in a long time, which I don't like to be, but I asked him, Sheriff, how he handles his anger and stuff, and does he ever get angry? And I kind of would ask you that of you as well. But I'd like to, I don't know how your schedule's looking here, but I'd like you to take a couple of minutes, because you were talking about, again, you're talking about combat and survival and stuff. Would you have time to share the story and however much detail you want, when you confronted the Republican Guard Iraqi in the bunker? And again, you don't have to get too graphic or anything, but I have a feeling you were angry. But I don't know if you have time on that or how much you want to share. But that's it's a really good story, because that was, quote, hand-to-hand action right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and my good friend, DJ Johnson, who owns Pioneer Arms down in Florida, go check him out. He's a good friend, makes great guns. He makes them. The guy's always been skilled. Well, him and I were in Desert Storm together, and we were clearing out bunkers. And, DJ was up on a 50 caliber machine gun. And he come up and was showing me this pair of binoculars. I said, well, I got to go out and clear this bunker. Well, this bunker, you go down. And in the beginning, we were throwing in hand grenades. And, well, they were worried because there were chemical weapons. Saddam had chemical weapons. And they were worried that sometimes there would be things down there that would really, really hurt you if you just throw it. So they said no more throwing hand grenades in the bunkers. So you had to go in and clear these things. These bunkers, when you went in, you had to make a hard, sharp turn either to the left or to the right. And it was done that way, and there was always a curtain up, double curtain. So it was very dark in there. And like I had told you, I come into that place, and I had my rifle in my hand, and literally came smack face to face with an Iraqi soldier who, we were locked in immediate hand-to-hand combat. Okay. I'm talking, I got my rifle and I push him up against the wall as hard as I can. Angry, not as much as it was just methodical movement. You know what I mean? Because when you start getting real upset and angry, of course you got the adrenaline going. There was definitely adrenaline there. But I was worried that DJ was up there on the 50 cal and then he was going to lay in with that dang 50 cal. You know what I mean? So, you didn't really do much, but I was looking around. It was so dark, I couldn't see. I didn't know if I was in there with one person, 2 people, 10. I had no idea. But I know I was locked in with this guy. And eventually he was screaming, I was yelling in his face. And, eventually I got myself turned around to where I could butt stroke him real good and just started laying into it with my fist as hard as I could. And he quit, he stopped. So, I didn't kill him, so I know that a lot of people are like, oh man, he must have took a bayonet and stuck. No, I didn't. Did I beat his ass? I beat his ass good. I did. And I beat other men like that before. But that guy was trying to kill me. Once he was subdued, I drug him out of that bunker, and there was my buddy DJ up there going, hey, buddy, what's going on? You know what I mean? So, and tied his arms up, and carried him outside. Blood all over me, blood all over him. But that's an up close and personal thing that happened to me. And the 2 times that I engaged in hand-to-hand combat in 2 different wars, I did not kill the guys. Okay. So most people like to tell war stories. I'll tell you true stories. Okay. The second time was on January the 30th, 2005, and we'd been attacked. And we had come down into this area and we was clearing this area, and this guy come out from behind this truck. Now I had my bayonet on my rifle. And immediately when he came out with his hands down like he was coming at me. And I turned around and I slashed with my bayonet, and I did cut him pretty good. There's a video that shows him, treating some of these guys. And same thing, just fast, violent. Look, I trained in Comrade Boss, man. I'm telling you right now, the stuff that they train the Israeli special forces with, you learn if you're a little guy or a short guy, you get up on them and you start using, you don't just take these big haymakers, you start using your elbows and your hammer fist, and you just really can work somebody over, a big guy especially. This is a pretty big guy. So I'd already cut him with the bayonet, and I was already had come around and hit him, you know what I mean, and caught him off guard, got him up against a car. And again, same situation, got your back pinned against the wall, big guy, and I'm going to wear you out just as much as I can. I tell you what, there's some people around here that almost got that treatment here one day, just because they was running their mouth about stuff. And it doesn't matter how big a person is. I'm telling you, if you react quick and with extreme violence, okay? Because if not, they're going to kill you. That's what I was thinking. And so my guys come around, and by the time that I got this guy pummeled him down, I did. And I broke his collarbone and some other things, but I didn't kill him. And then once he was subdued, we got your hands behind your back, and we sent him to go get treated and sent him on off to Abu Ghraib. So, it's
Captain.
Yeah.
Quick question. 2 for 2, you didn't kill the guy. Okay, let's write that down. You actually saved this guy, because it was the other way around, they wouldn't have saved you. Secondly, my question is, because the early theme for me was anger and just getting over anger. My question to you on this: did you see? Because I'll tell you what, I've never seen, and just saying, as a layman here, me, non-military guy, I've never seen hatred or anger like jihadists. Just going to say it. And did you see on both these guys, did they break their will? And did they have that true anger and stuff? And did you see them in their eyes where their will was broken, or maybe not as tough guy as they were a few minutes earlier?
Yes. Yeah, you start to see that go down. Usually whenever you start coming down over the bridge of the nose with an elbow and cracking them between their, between their ear and their shoulder blade, that they lose that real quick. Now, they're not afraid to die, but you beat their body down so much that they can't resist. So that's what I'm telling you. It wasn't just this willingness. You had to beat them into submission, and that's what happened. Now, I've had friends, that had other incidents that occurred, back down in the bunkers in the first Gulf War and, running into people. And if I would have had a pistol, I would have just shot that guy. Okay. But because I had a rifle and I couldn't maneuver it to shoot the guy, and it's the same thing with the other guy, I had the bayonet. Once I cut him, you come down with a slash and then you come up, with the butt stroke, you learn that, it's all trained. And then you come in, you take that rifle, both hands, and you press them up against something. And then once you do that, you take that elbow, wrap it around your daggone sling on your rifle so they can't get a hold of it. And then you start wearing them out with your right elbow or your left, whatever hand that you are, But you use that elbow and that meaty part, you know what I'm talking about, between your forearm and your elbow. And you just start beating the crap out of people with it. And if you can get a hammer fist down, you do that.
It's interesting. What you're describing. It's so interesting because I'm sure there's a lot of special forces training here, but this is kung fu called grappling. That's inside fighting.
Yeah.
Inside elbows, blah, blah, blah. I know a buddy of mine, I kid you not, he needs 2 elbow replacements. I've never heard of that because he did heavy grab.
And now they use Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which my son is very proficient with. Both of them are. I got 2 sons, man. They'll hurt you, man. I mean, I'm telling you right now, they'll hurt you. And they were trained like that. So they trained, in hand-to-hand combat in the Army and in the Air Force whenever my son went security forces. But they did that. They went in and on their own and, started taking these classes because they both knew those stories from their dad. Imagine if I would have been a weak man, oh, don't hurt me. You know what I mean? I would have died right there in that bunker. I wouldn't even have made it out of 1991. If I would have been weak and panty waist like some of these men are, I mean, it's like you can't live like that, Can't live like that, man. You got to be. It's not that you have to be violent. You have to be. You just have to be a man, okay? Women's the same thing. You worry about these kids and stuff. Your kids go to school. Oh, I'm worried that little Junior's going to get their ass beat by a bunch of bullies. Well, teach Junior the art of grappling and getting in close and beating the hell out of somebody with their elbows. And don't tell them, oh, well, don't fight back. Just tell the teacher. No, you tell them, I'm caught in a situation. You fight back. If you get suspended from school, we'll deal with that. I tell my kids that. So leave my kids alone. I mean, they're the same way, especially my daughters. I'm telling you, they're mean.
But you brought up a key point here. It's called be meek. My nickname was the Meek, but be meek, as Jordan Peterson. Have a big old sword. Have a big old sword, whatever weapon you got, but keep it sheath. Sometimes you got to pull it. Sometimes you got to pull it.
Yeah, don't go around being a bully. Because I'm going to tell you, for those 2 guys that I engaged in hand-to-hand combat, there were other guys that came out and surrendered. I didn't shoot them, beat them down, make them crawl like a dog, or do anything humiliating. Listen, we had the 5 S's, okay? Secure, safeguard, secure, search, safeguard, separate, and speedy return to the rear, which meant But they became our responsibility once they were prisoners. So we searched them, made sure they didn't have anything. Sometimes, all the time, it required taking their clothes off. They were down to their underwear or their t-shirt. It's just the way it is. All these people crying about those guys that had poor old Hamas out there in their underwear. Oh man, so what? If they weren't out doing stupid stuff, they wouldn't be out there crawling around on their knees in their underwear. You know what I mean? That's their own fault. So if you don't, they'll hide a hand grenade. You know, some of them will put a hand grenade between their butt cheeks. I'm just telling you right now. Pull the pin on that thing, and they'll kill you and everybody around you. So you got to be, you know, sounds rough. I know, Greg, but it's just a reality of it, man.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
I live my life like that for 26 months. You know, and I walk around here and I see some of these people, they're worried about, oh, well, they ran out of the lattes down there at McDonald's. Really? Is that the only thing you worry about? I got it, man.
Tell you what, there's a name in the house here, Val Olson.
That's our girl, man, right there. We love her. We love that.
Val Olson, remember, Captain, okay? Val Olson, our military radio gal, right? Forget Tokyo Rose, right?
Yeah.
We got the Alberta Rose, Val Olson. Tell you what, again, due to mic issues and stuff, she's just been sitting back, you know, listening to us blabber, the old guys. Guess what, Val? Whether your mic works awesome or not, take a minute or two if you want to catch up with James or ask any questions. But let's take a whirl at it here. I can't believe how nice and quiet and patient you were listening to two old guys. Guys.
Experience is what I hear, and that's what it's all about. I'm taking notes, I'm listening. I know that there are men who are desperate to hear the hope that you guys are spreading this morning. And if we could just beam this broadcast right into Alberta and, you know, really talk to those guys in particular this morning, because there is a lot of garbage, really just brutal garbage happening on the home front there, and you know, psychological stuff that can really break you down. I think in men there are just you know, they're made to feel spineless and like losers, and that there's no point in stepping up or stepping in. So is there a place for them, like you're talking about creating a space for men to rise up in their potential and who they are, to be real men? Is there a place for Alberta men in that awakening, so to speak, that's happening, or rising up?
I think so. I think that, you know, quite honestly, yes, I think that there is a place, you know, for all these men to get up. And look, you know, it stings a little bit, but men have got to get a little more pride in themselves. You know, I mean, they just got to get I'm not talking about this obnoxious pride like I see in some of these candidates around here, you know, but I'm talking about a healthy pride that says, you know, I want to be able to take care of my family. If I'm broke down in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the Beartooth Mountains in Montana, I know how to keep my family safe and warm and fed, and I can fix my car, and I can do these things. And they need to start just doing it. Stop depending on, you know, calling somebody to fix everything for you. That's step number one. Fix your own roof on your house, okay? You know, I'm not talking about re-roof the whole house, because I know, you know, you got building codes and stuff, but you know, you can clean your own gutters. Come on, man. We used to do that all the time. Cut your own grass. Come on, man. You can do that. You know, the other thing is teach your kids how to do these things. You know, I got lawnmowers. My son knows how to drain the fuel, to drain the oil out of a lawnmower, to get it prepped for the winter, and to get it set back up for the spring. He knows. And he's 14. Okay. So, and I think that the place for them to go is, just go to their own heart is the first place and ask themselves that very specific question. If you were facing someone coming into your house, they're unwelcome. How are you going to defend your wife and your kids? How are you going to do that? Can you do that? A lot of people say they can, but then fear gets a hold of their throat and they can't even speak, let alone act. So they got to get to the point to where they got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I've said that a lot in the last few shows, but you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable means, you got to get out of your normal elements and start doing things that you normally wouldn't do. Get outside. Go fishing. Instead of going down to the store to buy your fish, go up there and catch a couple and then fix it yourself. See what I'm saying, Val? It's just, I wish there was a place for them to go. Maybe I'll set something up.
Hey, James, maybe you do a little checklist of your Alberta Governor Youth Mentorship Program, right?
Yeah, there you go. And that's exactly right. And that's where it starts. You gotta, we got to get away from accepting. There are some people that are born certain ways, and there are some people that just are not built for this sustained combat type lifestyle. And I get it. And some of them are very smart and they have, other skills, which is fine, technical skills and things like that. But I'm telling you, every man needs to be able to take care of themselves and their family. I mean, it's just the way it is. So, Bravo's giving me a hard time, guys. I want to take him outside.
Yeah. James, thank you for parachuting in. Absolutely awesome. Once again, we just work it ad hoc as needed. Thank you so much. We'll be keeping in touch. And guess what? You're going to be on tonight, Continue Mission Radio. If you want to do a plug there before you take off, go for it. Either way, I'm going to be tuned in. I know Val will be tuned in, and we'll catch up after the show sometime, James.
Sure thing. Yeah. 10 o'clock to midnight. Eastern Standard Time on Continue Mission, which is on Blog Talk Radio. And it's on the Brain Injury Radio Network. So check us out, listen in. It's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. We always make it fun. And please call in and give Rich Kilblain a very hard time. I like that when people call in to give him a hard time. So
I will post the show link for tonight. It's a great show, and it's part of my every Friday night. I don't miss an episode because it's talk like this. It's real, it's raw, it's manly, and there's a place at the table for everyone. Yep. So as a woman, I love discussing what we're talking about this morning because it fires me up and encourages me that the home zone, that's my zone, and we get to make our nest special. Mm-hmm. And, welcome our men home from a day of hard work. And, there is just like something special and real and so good when we can all celebrate who we are. It comes back to that identity thing. Greg, over to you.
Yep. Hey, I love you guys. I got to go. Okay. Take care.
Episode 10, Secrets from the Inside. What a day.
Welcome to Secrets from the Inside. Val? I'm talking Canadian there, this is unbelievable, Val. This is unbelievable. Let me just do a quick synopsis here. As usual, we didn't expect anything that happened. As usual, we were unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled, undoxed. And we had about the most special. I mean, this is memorable for me, Val. I mean, I've been kind of working with, if you will, and corresponding with Sheriff Mark Lamb for 2 years. He so graciously contributed his time for my first campfire chat in 2022, of which there are clips on my YouTube channel, phenomenal stuff from Sheriff Lamb, who I keep saying, Senator Lamb. I make that mistake a lot, just saying, hey, I'm getting used to it, Senator Lamb, and his wonderful, incredible wife, Janelle. I always joke, the brains behind the operation, And like most of us married guys, Janelle's just a 1 in a million. Again, to review there, Val, remember, you and I did 2 full long-form interviews with Janelle Lamb, with Mrs. Lamb, mainly on her release of that book, incredible book, Bravery and Blinders. Again, we have whole episodes, so I'm doing a little Reader's Digest here. And I have a funny feeling this is going to be shared, shall we say, quite frequently. And then we have Captain James McCormick in the house, parachuted in and out. And my jaw continues to drop every time I listen to him. So we are now, looks to me, we're like about an hour and 20 minutes into this. I don't know how your clock looks. But let's take, honestly, let's wrap a little bit here. Let's take maybe, 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever. Your mic is still kind of in and out or whatever. So if you have anything kind of burning desires on your heart and stuff, I'm going to kind of late edit this in terms of really keeping the show positive and fun. I just can't believe the guests we had, Val. And there's more to come, Val. I assure you there's more guests to come. Welcome to Secrets from the Inside. 0010. I like that, 0010. Next week will be 0011, if my math is right. Take a minute or two here, Val, and I'll do a formal wrap at the end. But take a minute or two reviewing your side of the show. I'm still pinching myself, Val. Back to you.
I'm sorry that my mic connection isn't very good this morning, but I just want to give a shout out to those who have answered the call to serve and protect. And we do battle on our hands and knees in prayer. That's when stuff happens, and that's when change happens. And that's what episode 0010 is. It's answered prayer. And forever, the Americans came and the Americans delivered. That's what you will find in episode 0010. Secrets from the Inside with Greg Meakin. And I'm thrilled to be here alongside Captain James as a co-pilot. You never know what you're going to hear on Secrets from the Inside. That's what it's all about. The newest and hottest radio show on the internet. There are only 2 places right now that you can hear Secrets from the Inside. One is on this X platform, at Home Media Mom. The second is Greg Meakin's amazing YouTube channel, at Greg Meakin. If you have not subscribed, do that today at Greg Meakin. And a quick thank you to a show sponsor, patriotswitch.com/Val. When James was talking about these hardworking men, and I was just seeing, envisioning their hands, chapped from all that hard work. They need a lotion that works, and they don't want that made in China garbage. We want made in America products, and that is what you will find in my store. So visit it today. American made products only. We love our vets. We support our vets. It's patriotswitch.com/Val.
Very nice. Very nice. Still mic issues. I think that's some interference going on your side and might even be nefarious. Another conversation. No worries. Remember, Val, there's always secrets from the inside on this show. There already has been, and I'm going to give you another one. You ready? How about backload this to my secret at the end, okay? We all hear about the sheriff of Pinal County. He's a rather famous guy right now, big old cowboy hat, that's Sheriff Mark Lamb. For the first time, I'm going to kind of roll out the next sheriff Okay, sheriff. I'm already going to start calling him sheriff of Pinal County. Now, he's going to be a famous guy, and his name is Matthew Thomas. Okay, he is the current deputy sheriff, really working hand in hand with Sheriff Mark Lamb right now. I think he's got to go through an election. I'll be voting for him. He's the next sheriff. Okay. If you haven't heard of Matthew Thomas, look him up on the internet. Really cool. I have his, and this is not a plug. You know, when we talk books, Val, we're talking to share info that everybody needs. We just happen to be around really cool authors that write really great stuff. Great stuff. And Matt Thomas, I'm halfway through, maybe two. I'm a voracious reader, as you know, Val. And I'm through Matthew Thomas. It's called Interceptors. The untold fight against the Mexican cartels. The thing I love, and again, I'm kind of gushing already. I haven't even finished the book, but I'm going to do a famous Greg Meakin book review on this. Val, this is a Phoenix kid. I say kid. He's a Gen Xer like Mark. He's a Phoenix guy, so he was raised literally. You want to talk boots on the ground? He was raised with the gangs in Phoenix in the old days. And developed he's a true law enforcement guy from the beginning. A lot of people don't know Mark Lamb was a late bloomer. He didn't get into law enforcement until he was 34 years old. You know, he was a business guy. Mark was a business guy, an entrepreneur, but also a real hard worker. His dad was amazing entrepreneur. Lived down in Panama for a period of time. Mark, anyhow. We got Matt Thomas. He's a local guy. I mean, he's an Arizona kid, Phoenix kid. And when you start reading the stories, because very much like when we listen to James McCormick about the war stories, I mean, these are from the actual people, right? Right, Val? We don't copy paste here at Secrets on the Inside. We talk to boots on the ground, skates on the ice. And I'm reading through right now. It's one of those books, you know, when you can't wait to get back to it. You know what I'm saying? Thank goodness it's bedtime so I can start reading. But it's because he's talking about these stories, about these border stories and chasing, you know, the drug dealers and stuff down on the southern border. And it's also real current because he's there right now. I mean, he's the deputy sheriff of Pinal County. And he's done a number of podcasts and stuff. Look him up. Matt Thomas. He's phenomenal. And again, I'm sharing info there. I'm really looking forward to finishing the book because I'm going to write a review on this. As you say, you know this, Val. There are book reviews, and then there are Greg Meakin book reviews, right? So I really wanted to shout out to who will be the next sheriff of Pinal County, and that's Matthew Thomas. I'm going to wrap up my end if okay. I'm, as usual, starting to lose my voice a little bit. I've been working since like 2:30 in the morning, my time, Val. Imagine that. So I'm going to wrap with, of course, Secrets from the Inside. This, by the way, is a 35-year brand. It's not new. This just happens to be the 10th show, by the way. 10th show of a 40-year brand. That sounds like a tagline, Val. Secrets from the Inside would not happen. This platform would not happen without Val Olson and Val Olson Radio. It's been a couple of years in the work, really, in that I selected this platform a long time ago. You know that, Val. And that was to be able to get, honestly, whatever length you want. Can you imagine this? This is an hour and a half right now. I thought this might be a 15-minute catch-up. So the whole Key About Radio is unscripted. If people don't know what's going to happen or who's going to be dropping in or what's going to be said, and we just fait accompli on that, as we'd say back in Quebec, Val. So what an amazing show. Next show is going to be Wednesday or earlier if ad hoc. How about that? But it's going to be Wednesday at always 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. And then everyone figure out the time zone from there. Yes, indeed. Arizona is 10 a.m. Alberta is 10 a.m. That's a little homework for people just for fun. Anyhow, I cannot thank you enough, Val Olson, the Val Olson Radio. At Home Media Mom, by the way. Follow Val at Home Media Mom, just like it sounds. And that's exactly what Val Olson is. And follow her on Twitter, because again, these broadcasts come up live. It's the only time it really hangs there raw and live, and then I replatform it on YouTube, and then it goes everywhere else. You know that, Val. So hopefully in this next 24, maybe 48 hours, this show itself will be premiering on YouTube. And so once again, I just can't thank you enough, Val Olson. You're my friend. I mean, you're my friend. And it has been a thrill working with you, collaborating with you, and mentoring to you. I simply can't believe it's almost 2 years, Val. Where has the time gone? The older you get, okay, the days are long and the years are short. And I can't believe I'm coming up on 65 years old. If I would have told you that in my teens or back in Dorval High School, I would have never believed that I even make it to 65 years old. Welcome to 1970s Quebec, boys. Anyhow, I'm going to turn it back to you. That's a wrap for me. I always, to everybody out there is going to hear this broadcast, whether it's now or I'm getting shares from months ago now, Val. You know how that goes. But for everybody out there, all age groups, all of us, no matter where you come from, whichever side of the aisle you're on, even if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, okay, I still love you. Even if you're a troll and operative on social media, I think I still love you, but I'm not angry anymore. And I'm not angry anymore, Val. Today was Greg's therapy on waking up angry at, honestly, trolls and operatives, but that is another episode. Okay. God love you. God love you, the home media mom you are. You deliver on that. You're a mom of the 3 most awesome kids. Olivia, oh God, Olivia's awesome. Erica and Rylan, your big boy. And you are what you say you are. You deliver what you say you're going to deliver, and you are. I'm just saying, you're the mom of Alberta right now, as far as so many people following you for just the inside scoop and the truth and stuff. How's that? How's that for a wrap on my pal Val? Back to you. Just go ahead and do a sign off. I always say to everybody, wake up in kindergarten every day. There's so much to learn and so little time. Because before you know it, you're in first grade. Here's my sign off. Val, God love you guys.